Some people see a stranger and wave, others call the cops. It was a scorching July afternoon, the kind where the air shimmers, and the only relief is a dip in cool water. I just moved into my dream home in Willow Grove, a fancy suburban neighborhood with manicured lawns and nosy neighbors. The house came with a sparkling pool, my personal oasis. I'm Mia, 29, single, and recently cashed out a tech startup to afford this place. Most folks here are older, richer, and way more uptight, but I figured I'd keep to myself and enjoy my slice of paradise. My first week was bliss. I'd slip into a bikini, grab a lemonade and lounge by the pool, soaking up the sun. The backyard was private, fenced off with tall hedges, shielding me from prying eyes. Or so I thought. That's when I met Karen. Karen lived next door, a 50-something woman with a perm so tight it could double as a helmet. She had a reputation. The kind of person who'd report your dog for barking at 6 p.m. or lecture kids for skateboarding. I'd heard whispers about her from the moving crew, but I didn't expect to become her target so soon. It started with glares. I'd catch her peeking over the fence, her eyes narrowing like I was some intruder. I'd wave, she'd huff and disappear. Then came the notes, one taped to my mailbox. "This is a respectable neighborhood. Dress appropriately." I laughed it off. I was in my own backyard in a swimsuit, not parading down Main Street. But Karen wasn't laughing. To her, I wasn't a homeowner. I was a problem. The trouble really kicked off on a Saturday. I was sprawled on my lounge chair, sunglasses on, music humming softly from my speaker. The pool glittered like a jewel, and I was halfway through a true crime podcast when I heard it. A sharp, deliberate throat clearing. I lifted my sunglasses. There was Karen standing at the edge of my fence, arms crossed, her face twisted like she'd bitten into a lemon. "Young lady," she barked, "this isn't a public park. Who let you in here?" I blinked, confused. I live here. This is my house." She scoffed loud enough to startle a bird from a nearby tree. "Don't lie to me. I've lived here 15 years. I know every homeowner, and you're not one of them. You're some drifter sneaking into private property." I sat up, torn between laughter and irritation. "Karen, right? I'm Mia. I bought this place last month. Check the records if you don't believe me." Her eyes narrowed. "I don't need records. I know a trespasser when I see one. You're probably squatting, waiting to rob someone." She whipped out her phone, jabbing at the screen. "I'm calling the HOA. They'll deal with you." I shrugged, figuring she'd embarrass herself when the HOA confirmed my ownership. But Karen wasn't done. Over the next few days she escalated. She'd bang on the fence whenever I was outside shouting about vagrants ruining the neighborhood. She left more notes, each nastier than the last. "Get out before you're arrested. And this is a decent community, not a homeless camp." I started keeping them, sensing this wasn't just a misunderstanding. Then came the rumors. I overheard two neighbors at the mailbox whispering about that girl who's crashing in the Johnsons' old house. Karen had been busy spreading lies that I was a squatter, maybe even a criminal. I confronted her one morning as she watered her roses. "Karen, stop telling people I don't belong here. I've got the deed, the mortgage, everything." "Back off," she smirked, not even looking up. "Prove it, sweetheart. Until then, I'm watching you." That's when I noticed her Ring camera pointed directly at my backyard. She'd been recording me sunbathing, swimming, living my life. It gave me the creeps, but I didn't want to stoop to her level. I covered my side of the fence with a tarp and hoped she'd get bored. She didn't. By midweek, the HOA president, a tired-looking guy named Tom, knocked on my door. "Mia, I'm sorry, but Karen's filed a complaint. Says you're not the owner and you're disturbing the peace." Disturbing the peace by using my own pool. I showed him my closing documents and he sighed, clearly fed up with Karen's antics. "You're fine, Mia, I'll handle it." But Karen wasn't the type to be handled. She doubled down, leaving voicemails on my phone. How she got my number I'll never know. Warning me to leave before things get ugly. I started feeling like a prisoner in my own home. I checked the windows before going outside, worried she'd be lurking. My friends thought it was hilarious. "You've got your own personal Karen," but it wasn't funny anymore. I loved my house, my pool, my fresh start. I wasn't going to let her ruin it, but I also wasn't ready for how far she'd go. The breaking point came on a blistering Sunday afternoon. I was determined to reclaim my peace, so I put on my favorite blue bikini, grabbed a towel, and headed to the pool. I'd barely dipped my toes in the water when I heard the unmistakable screech of Karen's voice from her side of the fence. "That's it, I'm done with